Welcome to the Women in Leadership Body, Mind, Soul, and Business podcast, Mindset Monday. I'm Charlie.
And I'm Heather. We are so excited to have these conversations on Monday about mindset, about our Sutra topics of the week. It excites us. We get very excited about it.
We do. I think it's a really great way to start our week in a positive direction and just in time for lunch, because let's be honest, Monday mornings are hard, and around lunchtime things start to get a little easier and you get into the flow of the week. You've dealt with the mess of the morning and you're really starting to get into it. So let's reset our mindset around that. This week's yoga sutra topic is the 8 limbs of yoga. So over the next several weeks, we're going to cover each separate limb of yoga individually, but today we're going to talk about them a little bit, just kind of like an introduction.
I like the quote this week. Practicing the limbs of yoga eliminates impurities and reveals the light of knowledge, leading a continuous and keen sense of discernment. Yoga Sutra 228. I love that.
I love that too.
I've been studying a lot about shedding light into the truth, and we have a lot of those topics coming up here later in the month, things like that. And I think that this goes right along with that. It's just paving the way for what we have coming down the pike here. I'm really excited for that. But today's topic of the week is minimizing screen time. And I thought this was interesting, especially since we're, in the post-pandemic life. I'm air quoting that because I don't know
where we were
means.
Binge watching everything we possibly could because we didn't have anything else to do.
Right. And so we were on screens 24/7. We might have developed some bad habits about sleeping with our phones by us. So a lot of the things we're hearing is to make sure your phone is charging maybe in a separate room, to wait an hour before you touch your phone after you wake up. An hour. Let your brain wake up and let you have your own individual thought processes before you reach out and check mail or check social media. An hour. I was like, this is so hard today. I was trying to practice it. I always like to practice what we're preaching. So give it a try, right? I was like, it was really hard today. I'm not really good with charging my phone out of my room, but I cannot touch it now in the morning. I've developed that habit of not going right to my phone to check it. I've got myself that far. So now I'm trying to not touch it for an hour. So, little baby steps, whatever it is you got to do for yourself. I think my next thing will be plugging it in the kitchen at night. That'll be the next big step. So one step of this process at a time. So what it does is we're so inundated by the visual.
What I've been working on as far as minimizing screen time. You got so excited. I think out of sight, out of mind. Right. Okay, so we have this big TV we've had forever. It's not even a smart TV. It's just an old flat screen in our living room that I'm going to take down. And I'm going to move it. And I'm going to, instead, we got a projector that sits on top of the cabinet, right? And I got a projector screen that I can hang from hooks on the ceiling. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of the TV and get maybe some hanging plants to put on the hooks when.
Oh, that'll be so pretty.
Yeah, when we're not using it to watch TV, because it really is out of sight, out of mind. You can do other things instead of watching TV.
I think maybe on that shelf there, we should put a couple board games or something too, so that they're more visible.
Oh, I'm working on a few things.
Yeah,
a few things. You are. Yeah, that little entertainment console I want to swap out for something a little bit more family friendly. But it's springtime. It's a great time to reset the mindset around screen time and spend more time outside as well.
Right.
Okay. Now go.
Well, just giving our brains that chance to do what they're supposed to do for us, right?
Mhm.
Like if we're are totally hijacking our brains the second we get up till the second we go to bed, we
Mhm.
never have that rest part that we talk about.
Right.
And so this is just bringing awareness to that and allowing us to do it. Now, when my kiddos were young, we definitely had to, as a family, do what you're talking about. We had to make sure we put music on instead of, and we would put it on the player on the TV, just so that they couldn't, we created that boundary that you're not playing video games, you're not watching cartoons right now. Like
we're listening to, I
we
put
are
Pandora on my TV all the time. Like,
yeah.
And I'll like crank up the volume when I'm cleaning and stuff, because it's a lot more fun that way.
That actually is one of the tools to like helping you minimize screen time, is becoming productive during that time. Like, what can you do? Can you like ride your elliptical or your bike, or can you clean while you watch something? And then do you need to watch something? Do you just need to put on some music, or do you need to change or reframe what you're doing? I think some of it's a habit. Like I know growing up as kids, like my mom always had the TV on. It was on 24/7. Like it was noise. And I think because of where we live, like we lived in apartments and things, that was part of that noise barriers. So being aware that if you are using the TV like that, you can switch up what you're doing and try listening to something on the TV instead of action things, catching more visual stimuli for yourself.
Yeah, even when I was a kid, if my dad didn't want a TV, we probably would have never had one. But dad would watch things that we were interested in, like fishing, hunting, and golf, or like old Yankee Workshop, right? That kind of stuff, where it's like it's okay to watch a project or two, but you can't watch it all day. Well, he could watch it all day. That was like his zen, right? But the second you touch the remote, this
brings me to one of my favorite things that we should be aware of. Watching food and cooking shows all day does not mean you've eaten.
Oh yeah, I totally run into that problem. I ran into that problem yesterday.
You will take all your food and all your stuff all day and you didn't eat.
I spent all day
in the kitchen,
cleaning my kitchen, rearranging the pantry and things like that, and I forgot to eat till dinner time. I even made like a full-blown turkey dinner, and I didn't eat anything up until that point. So yeah, I was hungry for dinner.
Turkey.
So remember to eat, people.
So I guess some of the steps you can take to bring awareness to yourself, reducing exposure, talking about it, set limits, make sure you implement those limits
and stick to them. It's so hard to make changes.
And sometimes I feel like this is, you gotta look at dad and say, Dad, we're not playing video games while the kids are awake, period. Like you guys, everyone in the family has to be on board.
Same page.
Same page.
Yep.
Yeah, it sucks.
And it's hard.
It sucks. It sucks to be the parent sometimes. Sometimes it's hard for single moms because you're the only parent and you're like, I just want a break.
Right.
But guilt parenting your children isn't fun either in the long run. So okay. Say no in the company of others. So when you go to lunch, when we go to networking lunch, we should keep our phones away. They should be already silenced when we go in. Like just being aware.
Be present when you're present.
Yeah.
Be present when you're present.
We have a couple of friends that have really made that their focus this year, to be present with who they're present with. So, and that is part of remembering people's names too. I learned, I listened to a lot of YouTube this weekend.
It's all printed up personal growth. Right.
Create tech-free zones in your home.
Mhm.
I like your
Which is super hard. I used to have my kids plug their cell phones in on the counter in the hallway because we have like storage cabinets in the hallway. And well, they would sneak out and grab their
them.
phones. So then I would take them and they would all be in my headboard and then they'd be pinging and doing things. And I would turn them off. And it was a whole thing. It was a whole thing. You
So
guys.
one thing at a time.
Mhm.
Oh,
downgrade your services. Check and see if you're even using as much internet as you're paying for. If you're not using that much internet, turn it down a notch and save some money. Because why not?
and my favorite one is to set a timer for social media scroll.
Oh, I love that. That is a great part of DMO, or daily method of operation, for social media. You can set a timer, go into an app, say you want to interact for 15 minutes on Facebook. Okay, you set a timer, you go into the app.
You interact with intention.
Yes.
So hopefully if you've already done the some of those background work where you've cleaned up your feed, you've cleaned up your lists, right?
Mhm.
So when you're looking at your feed, every person that comes up should be somebody that you want to respond to.
Mhm.
And if it's not there, then we can have another conversation. But then if you're doing that, you find the first person, you respond with a good comment to them,
Mhm.
then that boosts their post. It also boosts you. Then your next person, same thing, responding with more than 3 to 5 words. Not just saying that we love it, love it, love it. I know I feel bad and I'm like, oh, why am I stuck in this rut? Why do I just love everything all the time? So yeah, we gotta be
Tell
authentic.
them why, what you like about it. Like, oh, I really like the colors in this graphic.
Or I really, or comment on something that they said in the post. Like, so you're creating that like authentic response. Remember back in school when the teacher was like, write a full sentence.
You guys, it's like making friends, right? You have to talk to them. Okay. You don't talk to them, you're not going to make new friends. It's like, hey, I want to be your friend, but then I'm going to go play with Susie. Yeah, that doesn't work, guys.
So maybe share something about you, of why you relate to this post. I mean, you really, if you've done the work in cleaning up your list, this it makes it more meaningful when you're on social media creating the responses back and forth. So
it really does.
Then you can set the timer and go on to your next app. If you are on more than one platform, if you're doing 5 minutes or 10 minutes, like it depends on how your day is, right? I didn't know we were doing social media today. I get very excited.
It does. I think we might even have a social media demo training on our YouTube channel.
I do believe we do. And
so go subscribe and find it. And it is in its own category, social media training with Heather, because that is a thing that we're trying to do more of. So check it out.
I can see why it gets me very excited.
Okay, so I think this goes really well with leading into the 8 limbs of yoga, because practicing the 8 limbs purifies the body, heart, and mind, and leads to discriminating perception. And each part of yoga stabilizes and refines a different aspect of our being. Ooh. So it's really decluttering your mind, like all that's extra stuff. And the TV clutters your mind with so much stuff.
So bringing awareness to how much time we're on screen time, and maybe we want to spend some time studying what some of these 8 limbs are as we go through the next 8 weeks. Really talking about these different limbs,
and reflecting on how they work for you in your life.
Yeah.
So the first limb, yamas, provides guidelines for establishing a strong ethical backbone, and thus supports the remaining 7 limbs. Okay, so the yamas are the ethical practices. Okay, the second limb, the niyamas, consists of personal practices for taking care of ourselves. That self-care piece. It includes the components of Kira Yoga, the objective of which is to weaken any negative mental emotional afflictions. That's the part where you work on yourself. It's that self-care, that self-love, and really working through your own crap.
Self-acceptance.
Yes.
This is where I am right
Mhm.
now. This is where I've been. This is
Mhm.
where I'm going.
The
You can
third
see it.
limb, asana, is for the body. Okay. So when you go to a yoga class, that's only one of the 8 limbs of yoga. Some of the other conversation and things that might come up during that class might be some of the other 8 limbs, but the actual movements and postures are asana. That is purification of the body. And you can do asana pretty much in any way that is good for you and your body. If you like to run, run. If you like to ride a bike, ride a bike. If hiking's your thing, do that, you know. But it's working on the physical body. And then pranayama, or breath regulation, is the 4th limb. Okay.
Which is often incorporated into a yoga class.
Very often. But then also it intertwines with everything else, because if you don't have control of your breath, you don't have control over your mental emotional state. Okay, because it's fight or flight.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Peace out.
The final 3 limbs are stages of the process of turning inward, and choosing to focus on an object, working on the duration of that focus, and a samadhi, which is like the last, is when you're in that magical zone of meditation where like the whole world falls away. You have that one pointed focus, and as soon as you notice it's there, it's gone, right? And so the goal is to reach that place and just be, because the second you notice, it's gone, right? But anyway, we are going to get more into this, and I'm super excited about this because this is like the golden rules of life.
I'm excited.
I'm super excited.
Yeah, we've been doing a lot of learning some key terms, and now we're moving into the whole thing.
Okay.
So
So
it comes together. Like
both of the books that we talk about each week, The Path of the Yoga Sutras and 52 Changes, Small Changes for the Mind, are both available on our website. Go check out the Grow With Us page. There's just really tons of really great stuff there for you guys. Personal growth stuff. Athena's snoring.
Dogs of podcast are very comfortable. We like to be squished into the middle here. We're really excited about this week's guest.
We really are.
We have Lynn Bernay coming back. We have Dina Haslock coming back. And we have Susan Gala. Like, she's wow, amazing. What a week. I'm so excited. Like,
yeah. Lynn Bernay, we always learn something from each of our guests, and I'm so excited to see what I learned this week.
I'm really excited for Lynn to see how far we've come. Right?
Yeah. So Lynn is also a podcaster. She's been doing it for a long time. And she is like,
she really propelled us forward.
Yeah, she really did. Just one conversation with her, and we have gone
she
insane.
Gave us a checklist. It was fabulous.
For sure.
So just being in the room with all of these ladies this week is going to be fantastic. We do really connect and are authentic with our audience, and we love that. We love you joining the table with us. Thank you so much.
Thanks for joining us. We love you.
Namaste.